Well, you want to start by introducing yourselves?
Matthias.
And you?
Am playing drums. Am playing drums. You am playing drums for.
You am.
This here is Dan Rathman.
Handlebar mustache.
He has a handlebar mustache.
And nose.
I have a beard, but I'm not going to let you see it.
Oh, hi! My name's Michael. How are you?
And collectively, you're known as?
The
Squeaky Time,
Gorilla means
Gorilla.
Nappy Times.
Snoring monkey exhibit.
We're known as Snootworthy.
Yeah, the Sleepy Santa Village.
Actually not known at all. The very question is flawed.
But you can just call us Helga.
Yes. If you collectively refer to us as Helga Pants.
Yeah, it's true. It's a truth. It's one of the
It's
truths.
a truism.
So we're actually, our whole purpose is to promote the use of the
Pants.
flute.
Yeah, check it out.
The flute.
Stunt flute. 90 stunt. This
The
flute.
flute as it applies to jazz music.
That's right. The flute as it can be used in jazz music and celebrating the life of
Steve McQueen.
kittens. And Steve McQueen and kittens. These kittens here, this flute once belonged to
Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen's sister. And this is Steve McQueen here. And her sister, her older sister, once owned this flute and put these kitten stickers on it.
And used it in the chase scene of Bullet. Have you seen that? The streets of San Francisco. There's one scene where the camera is set up on the trunk of a car, and he's careening down Lombard Street, and he whacks into the camera. Wax. W-A-X. Wax. Flying into the camera.
Wax
And you
camera.
see this flute just before the screen is covered over in
It's
wax.
like, it goes like
Yeah.
Tonight's episode, a flute to remember.
And he's wearing, you guessed it,
Helga
pants.
pants.
Helga pants. Yeah, special with the special Helga zipper. Yeah.
So that's pretty much who we are.
How many instruments do you use in one show?
Dan plays the
17.
jazz trombone.
Exactly 17.
17?
At any given moment, 17.
And if one
instruments
gets
are playing.
added, then we actually have to have a ritual expulsion
shot.
of another one.
Luckily, we figured out how to retroactively remove one. So if somebody plays one too many instruments and toward the end of the set, we can just remove one that we used from the beginning of the set.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it works
And then
out.
we can, that instrument immediately goes up for sale at an auction.
Of used sports equipment, because really the parallels between our instruments and the used sports equipment that has for years been our main source of income on the road.
Mickey
are immense.
Mantle's bat, Sugar Ray Leonard's speed bag, all these things are part of our traveling museum, and we charge a quarter to see the museum. So
price.
yeah, it's fair. It's a fair price, and for that admission fee,
If you admit,
to yourself that you are punching Sugar Ray Leonard's speed bag, it's like punching Sugar Ray Leonard.
which is weird, but
It's punching him in the fist.
Right.
Like punching
your
Sugar
neck.
Ray Leonard in the fist with your neck. Yeah. And and for that experience, I mean, I think we could charge upwards of 75 cents.
75 cents.
A
I think
lot
we
of
should
people
raise
don't
some
know this
prices.
about Sugar Ray Leonard, but he actually, when he was about 8 or 9, he was asked to decide whether he couldn't do everything. He was asked to decide whether he was going to go into boxing or flute.
Or haberdashery.
You
Haberdashery was
can't
also
do
an
everything. That's what our whole message is as a band. You can't do everything.
Sleepytime Gorilla Museum. You can't do everything.
But you must do more.
That's right.
Where are all of you from?
Slovenia.
Also,
No, Michael's the only guy from Slovenia. He's actually the reason.
I'm just trying to further the cause
He's
of my
a damn
homeland.
Croatian.
He pretends, you know.
I'm the
wouldn't-
damn Croatian.
It wouldn't
She
be
actually
right.
is.
It wouldn't be right not to mention Oakland.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay, let's
That's true.
get
That's
down
true.
to business.
Let's get that down to his own.
That's where we've kind of, glommed into a heap. Is in the sordid streets of Oakland.
how long have you been a heap?
For 10 years now.
10 years of heaping. 10 heaping years of history.
Heapistry.
Same lineup?
A decade of heapistry.
No, there's been some changes, but the three of us from the beginning.
We've been the same
Heapists
lineup.
from the start.
They've really been
none of the
lining
three
it
of
up
us
for
have
10 years.
changed our line.
Been holding
10
Although
years.
it's a little bit more of a heap. The line's a little.
And you were involved before then as well, correct?
Right. Some of us have been working together since the 80s, if you can imagine.
Lining right up.
The
Since the
1680s.
No, just lining it up in the 80s.
Yeah, Dan and myself go back to
Sleepytime
our...
Gorilla Museum. Lining it up in the 80s.
There was a band called Idiot Flesh.
That's right.
And before that, there was a band called Acid Rain.
We don't want to talk about that. Let's just call it Idiot Flesh.
It gets too complicated.
And then there was a band called Charming Hostess.
Where we started working with Carla.
Which paved the way for Dexy's Midnight Runners. Next question, please.
How has the tour been so far?
Oh man! You win right here. $50.
This is how the tour has been. Rollicking triumph.
Up the skies.
Yeah. The skies fell in Cleveland,
They did.
and we've been having to sell off some of our
Rollicking Triumph of Disguise.
tires from the bus, so things haven't been going so well. But we hope that things will turn around, and by Doylestown we'll be eating meat. And
It's been beans for
beans. It's beans.
for 12 days.
And you're all on the same bus.
We're
Yeah.
all on the same bus, and plus a baby.
Where did the
How did we don't?
From
Where did you find this baby?
When a man and a woman love each other.
That's why I stopped.
I didn't even think I was married. But I guess
And there was mention of another baby?
There was another baby, and we
true. In
lost
fact, I'm
it in
having a Braxton
Chicago.
Hicks.
Oh.
But you know what? Chicago is a huge city, and a baby is a very small thing. And it's, the juxtaposition of the two of them. You hold the baby up against the city, and you pan back from that, and
The baby
you lose the
disappears.
baby in about, just
That baby might as well be a flea.
Right, it might as well be a flea, and that baby had fleas. And so
She left.
yes.
She
So
fled.
She
She
went,
fled.
Yes. And
Fleas. Fled.
to fleed. So she thought that perhaps a bath in Mormon country would be the thing.
She fled.
If you had to pick 5 words to describe your band, what would they be?
Individually, Michael, go ahead. Slovenian.
Come back to me. I'll think of it later.
Come back to me.
Okay, Dan.
vestibular.
Ooh, nice.
Okay, I'm ready for mine. Okay.
Tibicular.
All right, you're good.
Accurate.
Savory.
There was mention of the bus. What about the bus?
Who's been talking about the bus?
I want to know.
She did.
We realized today that our bus is not as beautiful as some people's bus.
Mentionable.
Yeah, we saw a bus today that made us very envious.
It
I have to
was
say.
fancy.
Very fancy, and it belonged to some kind of Christian cult. And we are seeing it. We're going to look into it.
We're interested in starting an application with them in order for them to tithe
The
the bus to us.
to the museum.
To see
for
if they really
tax
have what
purposes.
it takes to follow through and take action where they
It would
might
be the
speak.
Christian thing, really, for them to give us their bus. It had sunroofs. It had like 5 different levels, and it looked like it was designed by
We should
Dowdy.
start calling
It
them
was
like on a
unbelievable.
weekly
We saw it at the
basis.
bus stop. We're like,
Yeah.
Hi, it's the museum. How's the bus coming?
Can I speak to David, please? We'll be on a first name basis with them, after a
your
couple
leader.
months.
We won't even say your leader, like they want you to, or
But
holiness.
our bus is just fine.
It is.
Our bus
Nice.
is cozy.
It's not.
It's got a baby.
Yeah, seriously.
Fibula. Tibia.
We're a good-looking fetus.
These are
guys.
examples of words.
This band here.
These are only some of the words that can be chosen in a sentence.
All right, besides your actual performance, what's the weirdest thing that ever happened to you during a show?
I injured myself in a lesbian arm wrestling competition in Texas.
That's right.
I'm not even fucking with you. It was a big mistake because I suffered for the rest of the tour.
She was very strong.
And very serious.
She was stronger than us. And Matthias suddenly, in one of his impromptu speeches that he makes
In the
course
middle of
the
a
show,
song.
he, instead of his usual storytelling thing, he decided to challenge a woman in the audience to an arm wrestling contest, left the stage, went out into the room, and this woman stepped up and proceeded to
Whoop on my fucking ass. And I should have given up the first time because she was so strong. I think I probably like tore something in my arm.
It was intense. She was great. She was a very beautiful black woman, and she stepped up and just was like absolutely composed and serious. And she was like,
Over the top.
it's like, whoa! You just see Matthias. It was no longer a joke, She's like, oh shit.
I
It went
tried.
on for a while.
In Austin,
too.
Texas, yeah. It was
Yeah.
because it lasted so long. That's how you
It was an
lost
outdoor show, and so the whole
It was
audience walked
110
over to
degrees
this
and like
picnic
100%
table.
humidity. It was unbelievably hot during the afternoon in Austin.
Strangest thing
From
that ever.
New York, it's believable.
Yeah.
Yes, right. The summers can be a punishing experience.
The strangest thing that ever happened to me was that I was kicked by a very small amphibious person from the inside.
Wow. Were they a fan? Did they pay?
They didn't pay.
Maybe
They
they were
snuck
like
in.
with the club owners.
They snuck in.
From within.
I got knocked out on stage once, but actually it was
It was by Dan.
Dan once hit me in the head so hard with the end of his bass that I lost an entire verse of a song. Got up and started singing, and I was singing verse 1, and they were on verse 2, and I was like, "What the hell, man? Why do these guys skip verse 1?" And I was like, this salty stuff in my mouth, and I was like, this like line of blood trickling down the white face, and I was like,
Was it really an accident?
"Hey, there are things."
Let's investigate that,
Yeah.
shall we?
Dan thought this is
wouldn't
my
call it
chance to brain this
strange.
fucker.
If someone asked you after your performance,
If.
Wait.
what just happened?
Are you asking us
Yes.
after our performance what
After
just happened?
performance, someone came up to you and said, "What just happened?" How would you?
I think that is a question that they would be more suited to answer than any of us.
I would say that we initiated a contractual obligation with the owners of the venue, and we were scheduled to play to enact a performance. And upon doing so, we enacted that performance. And having paid the ticket price, you were subject to said performance, and you are also liable for any injuries you may have caused yourself during said performance. And Sleepytime Grill Museum LLC is not to be held accountable for any visions or injuries that you may have had during said performance. Thank you very much.
Physical, mental, or
The end.
otherwise.
Maybe a better question would be, what would you hope they would experience, and what would you hope that they would take from it?
Oh, I would hope they would have a moment of helpless joy, a moment of wiggling, of supreme and supine wiggling, that they would feel like they had been lying down, even if they hadn't. And if they had, that they should get up again. So a shift in position. We would hope that people would have some kind of basic shift in position.
Sifting positions. When I'm up there, what I'm trying to convey is that I'm a sifter.
You let certain things fall.
Yeah, I let certain things
that's
fall.
okay.
I let the
You had a long day.
the bigger chunks stay, and the smaller bits dissolve into my lap.
Now, do your songs spontaneously burst into existence, or is there a process that creates them?
We meet in a room,
A vault.
and no one speaks. It's actually, it's almost like a Quaker meeting house situation. No one says a word.
The boiling
and sometimes
begins.
it goes on for days.
The boiling, the
Really?
plugging and the boiling, and the pouring, and the straining.
All examples of words.
And the
Again.
Yeah.
stirring,
The stirring and the slurping.
chopping. There's
And
chopping.
then the musicking starts. It's a lifting. It's a lifting
Cranking.
and then a cranking and then it's a dropping. And then a passing.
And there's some pounding and stomping.
Yeah. Yeah. And then a sifting, in my case
A
a
tasting.
sifting, a tasting, a finishing, and then
A glazing.
there's a glazing, and then there's a packing, a moving, a closing, a starting, a backing, a rolling, and a concentrating.
Ultimately.
Simple as that.
What are your thoughts on leeches?
I love them.
They've actually proved to be quite useful in the tour.
Did you ever see Stand By Me?
Yes.
There's some leeches in that film.
I think leeches are quite youthful. I think
Youthful in
leeches are
medicine.
among the invertebrates. They are some of the youngest and most youthful of all the invertebrates.
You can tell by their suckling ways.
They suckle divinely.
Indomitable spirit.
That's right. And sometimes, however, a leech will suckle falsely. And when a leech suckles falsely, it deserves the full weight of the community.
And they've got the cutest little ravening maw you ever did see.
The ravening maw, 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 ravening maw. We're sick, and we won't get any better. And we're willing to trade for it. We're willing to trade our sickness for. We're hoping to get a job at the beach, working with film students. Film students. We're hoping to go to the beach and work with film students. In exchange for our illness. In exchange for our sickness. In exchange for our burdens. We trade our burdens for anything. A film student and a burden. We're burdened.
Roberta's a film student.
Film students have all gone birding.
Film students can't get a good movie anymore. I scared the living daylights out of the film students.